guys! It's me again, Lady Sarcy. Welcome back to my channel. Walang personalan, boring lang. I know you are wondering why this woman looked different every time she uploaded a video. Hayaan nyo na, I'm just trying to experiment on my looks. Anyway, due to the overwhelming number of views on my last video, actually my last two videos, na-inspired ako to make another one. And again, thank you so much. You guys are my inspiration for this channel. So I hope you will continue to support me by watching my videos. Share nyo na rin ang channel ko to your family and friends. By the way, to those who are asking questions, please check some of my videos first kasi baka may nagawa na akong video about it. Scroll lang kayo dyan. Anyway, for today's video, I am answering the questions that some of you guys asked in the comment section and some were sent through private message in my Facebook page. See? Nagbabasa talaga ako ng mga comments nyo. So let's proceed to the first question.
I was an OFW. How am I going to answer the consular officer if he or she will ask, have you been outside your home country?
Okay, speaking of the OFW, big shout out to the overseas Filipino workers out there, our modern day heroes. I have so much respect to all of you guys for your dedication and hard work and of course for your big contribution to our country. So mag-ingat kayong lahat dyan and may our loving God will continue to protect and bless all of you. So moving on. Honestly, guys, this is a very tricky question. Should you tell the consular officer that you were an OFW? In my personal opinion, wag na. Lalo na pag hindi naman kayo tinanong. At never kong narinig na diretsahang nagtatanong ang consular officer about working abroad unless kung binigyan mo siya ng idea. Alam nyo, sa totoo lang, kayo lang naman ang nagpapahamak sa mga sarili nyo. Example ha, the consular officer asked, have you been outside your home country? Ibig niya sabihin, the countries that you've been as a tourist. Don't mention Dubai, don't mention Saudi Arabia, don't mention Oman, don't mention Kuwait. Hindi naman tayo nagtutour doon, Diyos ko Lord. So ngayon, dahil binigyan niyo siya ng idea, magfa-follow up question yan. Like, how long did you stay in Dubai? Alam niyo, may na-meet ako after ng interview ko. Sabi niya, everything went smoothly daw until yung last question na ito nga, yung have you been outside your home country? At nabanggit niya na he worked in Dubai. Nag-iba daw talaga ang itsura ng consular officer at binigyan na siya ng blue paper. Ito yung papel na binibigay pag denied ang isang applicant. And guys, kahit yung Thailand, 50-50 pa din. Kasi entry point yan ng mga gustong magtrabaho abroad. Pero kung nagtutourist ka lang naman talaga sa Thailand, like 4 days, 5 days, okay yon. Kasi safe pag nag-follow up questions. I suggest sa mga Filipinos na gustong magkaroon ng travel history, mag-Hong Kong muna kayo. Pwede pa kayong mag-cross ng Macau. So, dalawang bansa agad. O di kaya Singapore. Tapos mag-cross ng Malaysia, di ba? Okay, next question. This question is in relation to the first question.
Ma'am, wala akong travel history. Anong gagawin ko?
Actually guys, yung travel history makakatulong. It would give a huge impact in your visa application, especially na yung mga countries na pinuntahan mo ay visa issuing countries din, like Japan, South Korea, Scandinavian countries, yung sa Europe na mga bansa. Kasi ibig sabihin yan, umuwi ka after your short visit and it would give an impression to the consular officers na mapagkakatiwalaan ka. Pero, hindi guarantee na maa-approve ang US visa application mo. Kasi sa US tourist visa application, ang pinaka-importanteng tinitingnan ng mga consular officers is ang strong ties mo talaga sa home country. So, big bonus na lang kung may travel history ka pa. Ako guys, noong nag-apply ako ng US tourist visa ko, wala akong travel history abroad. So, United States talaga ang first travel ko overseas. Ito ha, if you have the means to travel, sabi ko nga, try nyo sa neighboring countries ng Pilipinas like Hong Kong, Japan, Singapore. I suggest dito muna kayo before mag-proceed sa US. Kasi kung magtutourist ka lang naman, baka sabihin ng consular officer, bakit US agad? Bakit hindi muna sa medyo malapit-lapit muna? Iwasan din ang mga countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, kasi alam din ng mga consul na mura lang pumunta sa mga bansang ito. Kaya kung gagastos ka na lang din naman, itodo mo na. Now, doon naman tayo sa mga walang budget mag-tour. At yung pera is intended lang talaga pang US na agad at doon sa may mga sponsor. Pero syempre, bawal i-declare. Maghanap ng magandang dahilan kung bakit hindi ka pa nakapag-tour sa ibang bansa. Iwasan na no lang ang isasagot. Ako guys, sinabi ko, no, ma'am. I haven't been outside the country yet because I was busy prioritizing my career and my financial stability to make sure that I can afford all the things that I have now, including traveling to America. O, di ba? So, sabi ni Consul sa akin, congratulations! I think I can give you a visa. Ganon. Eto ha, pwede niyong gayahin ang sagot ko, depende sa inyo. Pero siguraduhin niyo na you say it with conviction. Mag-practice kayo. Paghandaan niyo at syempre, siguraduhin na financially stable ka. Dapat convincing, 'di ba? Baka mamaya I'm prioritizing my financial stability ka dyan. Tapos, nilagay sa DS-160, walang work. So, kung mas may maganda kayong dahilan, go. Importante, wag lang simpleng no. Okay? Next question. Hala guys, feeling ko marami talagang ma-approve nito. Congratulations na agad sa inyong lahat. Manifesting na tayo! Okay, isa pa.
Can I use my existing contract overseas as reason to come back home?
Okay, so basically, you are saying na umuwi ka lang para magbakasyon sa Pilipinas. And siguro, mahaba-haba ang bakasyon mo na binigay ng employer mo, so naisip mo na gusto mo munang mag-apply ng US visa. At pag nabigyan ka ng chance, mag-America ka muna before ka babalik sa workplace mo. Tama? Guys, honestly, hindi ako sure kasi ang alam ko, yung strong ties na requirements sa US tourist visa is ties to home country eh. Pero, try mo kasi ang importante lang naman kay consular officer is lalabas ka ng Amerika after maximum stay of 6 months. Actually guys, super red flag na talaga pag inabot ka ng 6 months sa Amerika unless medical purposes ang reason. Kaya 2 to 3 months is the safest. And if you will use your existing contract, depende rin yan sa nature of work mo na nakalagay sa contract with the salary declaration of course. Like, let's say, engineer ka sa Saudi, tapos yung salary mo is worth ganito. Maybe pwede, kasi isipin ni Consul na hindi naman niya siguro ipagpapalit ang ganito kalaking sahod for uncertain future in the US. Pero kung yung existing contract mo naman is bilang nurse, nako, very in demand ang mga nurses sa Amerika. So, baka disadvantage palalo. So, again, depende sa nature of work. And again, I am not sure sa sagot ko. Better kung mag-research ka rin dyan or magtanong-tanong ka rin sa iba. Okay? Pero, itong pinakasigurado ako, hindi lahat na binibigay na tourist visa ay 10 years multiple entry. Yung iba, 3 months single entry lang. Ito yung problema. Pag na-approve ka at nabigyan ng multiple entry, lucky you kasi you have enough time to prepare for your trip. Pero kung na-approve ka at 3 months lang binigay sa'yo, kaya mo bang pumunta agad doon at uwi ka lang agad? Kasi guys, once na nabigyan ka ng visa at hindi mo nagamit, mas mahirap na kumuha next. At malaki ang chance na ma-deny ka na. Kaya lagi kong sinasabi, ang pagkuha ng visa, pinaghahandaan. Because it can be advantageous or disadvantageous at the same time. Next!
I will stay in a relative's house. Can I put him or her in my DS-160 as my sponsor?
Guys, pwede namang ilagay yung mga kapatid or kamag-anak nyo or kahit kaibigan as contact person nyo sa US. At pwede nyo rin gamitin at ilagay yung address nila as your address in the US. Pero sa question na person paying for your trip, always put self or myself. Again, visa applicants must qualify based on their capacity to travel to the United States and their strong ties to their home country rather than assurances from U.S. family and friends. An affidavit of support is not needed to apply for a visitor visa, but if you choose to bring a letter of invitation, pwede. But please remember, it is not one of the factors used in determining whether to issue or deny your visa application. It is just that the U.S. Embassy wants to ensure that the intending visitor is less likely to seek assistance from public funds once in the U.S. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka magiging pabigat sa U.S. government if worst comes to worst yung situation mo doon. Another one!
Ma'am, yung mga properties namin nakapangalan sa asawa ko at hiwalay na kami.
Okay lang yan guys, kasi unlike sa Japan or Australia na walang interview at kailangan lang i-attach ang mga properties nyo together with your application, sa US hindi kailangan yan kasi nga may interview. Ako guys, personally mas prefer ko na may interview kasi pwede kang magpaliwanag. You have the chance to change the consular officer's perspective of you, especially kung napaghandaan mo ang mga isasagot mo during your interview. Kung sa asawa mo nakapangalan at kung kasal naman kayo at walang prenuptial agreement, automatic conjugal properties naman yan. At hindi naman naghahanap ang mga consular officers na mga title ng bahay at lupa. Kung meron man, napakabihira. At again, kung asawa mo yan, walang magiging problema, basta kasal kayo. Sa question, what if hiwalay na at sa kanya nakapangalan? Simple. Kung hindi naman legal yung paghihiwalay, use it to your advantage. Huwag i-declare na hiwalay na. Pwede mo pang gamitin ang iyong asawa as one of the strong ties to your home country, di ba? Pasado pa yan kasi may babalikan at hindi isipin ng consular officer na maghahanap ka ng AFAM kasi nga married ka na, di ba? O, isa pa.
Can I still be denied entry to the United States even with a tourist visa?
Answer, capital yes. Oo naman. Kala nyo dahil may visa na, sure na? Naku, you have to consider the Philippine immigration. Kasi baka sa Pilipinas pa lang na-offload ka na. Tapos may US Customs and Border Protection pa. So hindi, marami ka pang pagdadaanan bago ka talaga makapasok sa Amerika. Based sa experience ko guys, hanggat hindi ka makalabas sa airport, hindi ka pa safe. Actually, may video ako niyan. Search nyo. Top 10 Reasons or Common Reasons of Denied Entry to the United States by Lady Sarcy. Panoorin nyo yan guys kasi ang dami nyong matutunan dyan sa video na yan. Ako true story, muntik akong na airport to airport kasi 'di ba first time kong mag-travel outside Philippines at USA agad. Medyo tatanga-tanga pa ako noon. So 2 hours akong na-hold sa immigration. Nightmare. Actually, may video din ako niyan. How to avoid airport-to-airport refusal. Alam nyo guys, super shock ako na pwede pala to. Pwede pala hanggang airport ka lang ng Amerika. Naku, ang mahal ng ticket. Wag! Panoorin nyo yan guys para maiwasan nyo ang hassle na nangyari sa akin. Next question.
Should my answer to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection be the same to my answer during my visa interview in the U.S. Embassy?
No, not necessarily. Kasi after kang mabigyan ng visa, wala namang sure date kung kailan ka magta-travel to the US. Yes, tinatanong tayo ng intended date of arrival sa DS-160, but pwede nating baguhin yan. Pwedeng mas maaga sa dineclare mo or pwedeng mas late. But most of the time, nakadepende talaga sa availability of funds, di ba? So the US Customs will only based on the documents you will present pag nandun ka na sa airport. So kahit 2 weeks lang ang sinabi mo sa interview mo, pero sa US Immigration, dineclare mo na 2 months, okay lang yan. Walang problema kasi pwede ka namang magstay sa US ng maximum of 6 months once na-approve ka na ng visa. Pero syempre, kailangan mo pa rin magdala ng mga supporting documents like approved leave of absence, from work, round-trip tickets, company ID, Guys, wag na wag kalimutan ang company ID. Kasi may work ka nga pero walang ID. Baka yan pa ang reason na ma-offload ka. So make sure na lang kompleto ang mga documents na dadalhin mo. Important reminder guys, i-delete ang mga pictures or convo na may kinalaman sa pagtatrabaho. Kasi sa Amerika, sa immigration, randomly hinihiram nila ang mga gadgets, tapos tinitingnan nila email mo, yung photo gallery. Naku, sa may mga AFAM dyan, i-print out nyo na po ang mga convo nyo sa WhatsApp or Messenger. Tapos, print mo na rin mga pictures nyo bago mo i-delete. Kasi syempre, kailangan nyo rin yan for future use. Later on, pag nag-apply na kayo ng fiancé visa. Pero bawal yan na makita ng US Customs and Border Protection. So, dapat malinis ang cellphone mo or laptop mo. Another question.
My job doesn't have physical office and I only work online. How can I prove to the consular officer that I am working?
Okay. If you have invoice or receipt from your client, you can use that as proof in case mag-ask si consular officer ng proof. Pero sa totoo lang guys, bihira lang talagang maghahanap ng mga supporting documents ang mga consular officer. Mostly of their judgment, nakabase na talaga sa information na nilagay mo sa DS-160. All you have to do lang talaga is to prepare for the interview. Dapat confident kang sumagot na parang nakikipag-usap ka lang sa kaibigan. Don't pressure yourself too much. Isipin mo na kung para sa'yo, ibibigay ni Lord yan. Kung hindi, better luck next time. Wala namang limit eh. Anytime, pwedeng mag-apply. Pray din. Palaging magtiwala lang kay Lord, di ba? So, good luck sa inyong lahat. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. For more travel and visa tips, subscribe to my channel. For questions and clarifications, please don't hesitate to comment down below and I will try my best to respond to your queries. Keep safe, everyone. I love you guys.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10